What is going on, everybody? I'm already struggling through some early slate tilt. I really feel like this Detroit Tampa Bay game should be like, I don't know, 24-21 or something like that right now. You got Tampa Bay hasn't scored yet when they had the ball in the opposing red zone. As I predicted, they can't run the ball, so they're throwing it. So there's plenty of things, but we need touchdowns. So that's kind of frustrating. Also very frustrated. I have Josh Jacobs like 25% and fumbling at the half-yard line while you're going crazy anyway. So it would have been nice to get those ones. And then we'll see if the Dak can lead the Cowboys back. That's one I still don't think is over yet. So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to talk over the afternoon slate. It's a little early to talk about late swapping and how to use it. We could talk about how to use it, but it's a little early to think about late swapping. You should be doing it right about 4 Eastern, not 3 Eastern, just because there's so much left to go in these games, and there's guaranteed to be a ton more scoring. There's some guys that are going to have days where you need them to win, the Kamaras. You've got other guys like Jacobs. If he somehow gets in twice going forward, it's totally possible all these things happen. So obviously the Jefferson and Lamb off to a good start. So a lot of stuff. Chris Godwin's having a monster game so far. Really hoping that they can put some touchdowns instead of these field goals on the board in that Lions game, because I have so much invested in that in pretty much every way. Nothing could really be bad for me there. I would love St. Brown. Oh, he almost got in there down to 1. I'd rather it not be Montgomery. Unfortunately, that's probably what's going to happen. But look, it's been one of those days. I feel really good about the process. I feel really good about the faster paced games, getting more plays. It's just, you got to convert some third downs. You got to score some touchdowns and not just rely on the field goals. Simple as that. It's tough to win when you do. And meanwhile, Sam Darnold is having another day again. Wow. Who did he hit that time? Sorry. Anyway, a lot of stuff going on. I do have Kamara a decent amount because I've got Dak stacks. So I actually I'm okay with Kamara going nuts. He's so low owned. It's okay. Laporte is off to a slow start, but like I said, there's a lot of time left in that game. That game is playing fast. I could see a lot of things happening left in the Lions and Tampa Bay game. So anyway, we'll talk about the afternoon slate. So this is just looking at it straight from the afternoon slate perspective. You can see who's owned. It's really weird to me because I heard a lot of talk about, and everybody saying Justin Fields as a cash game quarterback. If you have a cash game quarterback that's below 10% on a 3-game slate, first of all, I don't really believe necessarily he was the cash game quarterback, but if you do have that, you should probably be playing a heavy amount. So I have 2 big lineups this afternoon, and Justin Fields is the quarterback in one. And I have so much Stafford, I have so much Murray on the main slate, but I do have Murray as my other one here. I don't mind the Burrow. Obviously, Mahomes is going to be the chalk, but I like the Burrow idea a little bit. It's easy to stack. Kyren Williams, I think that's where I would start with in this matchup as far as running backs go. I like Connor on the main slate. I have him a lot, and I have him a decent amount on the afternoon slate. And Pacheco is those 3 are going to make up most of my ownership. I do have a Najee Harris lineup. I did not get to the Denver backs for what it's worth. Cooper Kupp, I think in every lineup in the afternoon so far. So it is what it is. I like the owner. I like it. I like trying to get Kupp and Chase in there. You can find some cheap plays let you do that. Obviously Yasavis. You got Robinson and then Tyler Johnson as the values. I like Dortch as a contrarian value, and I like Cortland Sutton as a lower owned option, as well as Pickens. But Pickens is going to have a little more ownership. From the tight end spot, McBride is obviously the one I would like the most. I understand the argument for Kelsey. I personally am more on the McBride side, and I like Gesicki quite a bit. I like Parkinson. They're in my main lineups mostly, so I'm going to have some decisions to make in a little bit. And Freiermuth at this ownership, I like the idea of pairing Fields with Freiermuth, maybe instead of or in addition to Pickens. It's not going to be very common, and I think it's an interesting way to get different on this small slate. Interesting, the Cardinals defense, I guess, is the price that makes them the most owned. That's fine. I have no problem with the Cardinals. I would like to play the Steelers. I would like to play I have some interest in the Broncos. I'd like to play the Steelers, and I'd like to play the Rams at low ownership. Those are my takes on that. So that's where I'm at. Guys, if you're watching, please click the like button. In terms of late swapping, I wanted to do these initially with the idea. Oh no, they're gonna run it. Yeah, they're gonna run it in with Montgomery. It's like literally like my nightmare scenarios. I mean, just come on. You got the guy who would be right there with Kamara in terms of fantasy points, and he fumbles at the quarter-inch line. And then I get Montgomery to score when I have literally everybody else on Detroit. And I do have a little Montgomery, but not enough, man. It's just freaking brutal. Really, really frustrating. So sorry if I'm a little distracted by it. It's just, I mean, it is what it is. It's a Sunday. You're going to be paying attention, and everything's big. It's lots of money to be made, lots of chances that nobody took that you took, lots of things that, could make all the difference. And we'll see. We'll see if we can get any of these things home. Unfortunately, I did add on some Breece Hall because I didn't have enough. But, like, it's kind of killing. Like, I have Kamara with Jonathan Taylor with the Cowboys stack. That's probably my best hope. I have the Schoonmaker in that one as well. So if Dallas can come back and make this a game, I think we're, a chance to have something. You have the Chargers defense. I've only got Ty Johnson in the afternoon. I'm thinking about changing that. But I'm going to have to make those decisions as we get closer because there's a lot of time left in these games. So that's sort of my general thoughts on that one. I'm going to talk just really quickly about the showdown slate as well. My favorite contrarian-ish play as the captain is Tank Dell. My second favorite is probably, I didn't quite find one that I love. I don't mind the idea of DeAndre Swift or DJ Moore. Those would be the other ones. I wouldn't be playing any of these guys as captains at that ownership personally. But I think it's totally fair to. I will have CJ Stroud in any lineup I build. I'll have Caleb in probably a good amount of them, as well as Mixon. If I play Tank Dell, I can do that. It means I need one value piece. It's thin, but if I do that with Cam Akers at no ownership, maybe he pops one in. I think it's worth taking a gamble on. That's sort of my thinking there. Maybe you could make the same argument for Steven Sims at, as one of these cheap guys. Tyler Scott would be one you could consider. But I did find myself looking for those cheap guys because I'm trying to get in the one receiver from Houston. I want to get in Stroud in every lineup. I want to get Caleb in most of my lineups, and I want to get Mixon in most of my lineups. So that means I'm going to have to spend down some places. And I was looking at the cheapos, and they're not getting any love, and it's one game, it's football. There is no reason why Cam Akers cannot score. And there's no reason why he and Mixon both can't have good games here. So that's my justification. Another first down there for New Orleans. Maybe they turned the ball over or something. It's not, I don't even want Dallas to win. I want the comeback, and they can do it. We've seen things like that happen before. I think it's totally there. I have Breece Hall some, but the thing is, like, Hall is not even like. Look at the highest scorers right now. Like, let's look on FanDuel just because it's easier the way to do it. Kamara is the highest. Okay, Jefferson second, Godwin third, Dobbins fourth. Crazy. Quentin Johnston's right in there. But Breece Hall is not like, it's not like he's having like some sort of a monster game. He might end up with a monster game, but there's a lot of guys left who might end up with a monster game. Really frustrated not to get St. Brown. I have a ton, and he's got 9 catches for 100 yards, and just it would have been nice to get him in the end zone instead of tackled twice inside the 5, once at the 1. That's a little tilting. As I mentioned, I have tons of Godwin. I unfortunately have a lot of Evans in those lineups, and that's been nothing so far. I have tons of Jacobs, and very frustrated by him fumbling at the half quarter inch, whatever it was, line, not quite getting the end zone. Just very tilting because that's, automatically it's like an 8-point swing based on where you got. So tilted. But that's what, look, I gave my little thoughts on here. I think you could make an argument for a couple other weird low-owned things. I think that there's an argument for the Houston Texans defense. If you want to get into large field stuff as a captain, there's a chance that the Bears just can't do anything offensively. It's just a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, in that case, if you captain the Houston defense, you'll be so far off the board with that alone. Now you'll run yourself into builds that are similar. I guess 4% is a little higher than I thought, actually. I think it's a very reasonable play, the Texans, and then you get everybody in. But then maybe vary and leave a little bit of money in take a slightly cheaper play, like instead of Collins, play Tank Dell or something, just to do something a little bit different. Because 4%, even when you're trying to win a tournament with 1 million people in it, it's not enough low ownership to try to take that down. All right. So as far as the main slate goes, I'm still waiting on everything. I honestly think on this slate in particular, it's really, really hard to judge where you're at and know what your pivots are going to be and stuff, because it's just tough. So that's why I thought I would just talk through the afternoon games today. We will try to incorporate some of that stuff. If we can get Sheets on here, he's the best at late swapping and all that stuff. And he could probably do it closer to the time, because for me, if I'm hand building and hand doing it, it's going to take me a little bit of time to figure it out. And it's already going to be a panic mode for me from pretty much from 3:55 Eastern to 1:25, but really 1:05. So hopefully we can get things to turn around a little bit. Sorry, it's kind of a short show. If you guys have any questions or thoughts, please weigh them in. I'm happy to listen to anything. Kamara's going for his 4th. He's not going to get there. Oh, wait. Yes, he is. Kamara. God. He was 7% on just the morning slate and 4% on the main slate. Pretty wild. Oof. And of course, I played a Dallas stack on FanDuel, but with Lamb, and who could still get there, by the way, and he's got already off to a good start, but like they're going to have to throw the ball a ton. They need to try to come back and make this a game even. But I would love this game script if I just had Kamara there. I mean, look at this game he's had today. It just all went back to him. And the first week, the perception changed everything. So pretty another big spot here with Tampa Bay and Detroit. Sorry, I know it's not the most entertaining stuff, but again, any questions or thoughts, please weigh them in. I'm still waiting to see how these things play out before I can really make informed decisions, because there's so many guys who can still have big games. And it's just hard to know at this hour. There goes Baker for a touchdown. I do have my Baker. The problem is I've Godwin, I have Evans in those. So at least they got in the end zone. That's good to see. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Yep, we saw the Kamara score again. That's a big one. Curious what that does. I have to have some good things, because I've got the Dak. And Dak's still going to end up putting up a big fantasy night no matter what happens that's left. But we will see. Let me just see what I ended up with Kamara. I know I put him in some big stuff, so that's good. But I think I also have like he and Lamb, but nothing in the afternoon in certain lineups. Yeah, I need Dak to get it going, I guess. Got another one with Kyron Williams in the afternoon. Could be something. Kind of have a little too many deads. I had a little too much Lazard. Took some shots there. It's not over yet. And some interesting lineups there. So we'll see what happens. Anybody else has got a sweat or a hot start, let me know, because I'm always happy to talk about that. But if there's nothing else, I am going to get – oh, my God, this Vikings-Niners game. It's so predictable looking back, but, like, I really felt like it should have been predictable that they were going to lose this game. Like, oh, man. I'm getting the Niners wrong twice to start the year. Actually, I didn't pick the Vikings. I didn't pick them to win. I think I bet the over, though. Yeah. All right, guys. Peace to y'all. Appreciate you guys. And let me know if there's any other thoughts. I'll be in Discord all day. So check it out. Good luck to everybody today.